Good morning. It is Friday, June 20th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. Mr. Clerk, we do not have a quorum, but why don't we start with the presentation portion of our meeting today. And I'd like to call on Mr. Cedillo. Mr. Cedillo, the floor is yours. Mr. Cedillo.
All right. Mr. President, it's been a great morning for me and for us. I just came from the California Student Aid Commission. They're having a meeting here in Los Angeles to talk about the DREAM Act and financial aid for our young graduates. I was able to see our former colleague Jack Scott. He sends his regards, and the new President Pro Tem of the Senate was also there this morning. So it's been a very exciting morning. Members, this is an incredible country. As you know, we are all hyphenated Americans. We are Mexican Americans. This is the John Ferraro Hall. He was a great Italian American, great Irish Americans, African Americans, etc. This is a great nation because we're able to, as a nation of immigrants, bring our heritage with us and then blend as one great nation and one great country. And so I'm very excited to be here today because we have an extraordinary leader of the Mexican-American community. And I think it's very important to have him here because he serves as a bridge between the Mexican heritage and Mexican immigrants and people who come here as we assimilate into the mainstream of America. And he does so in a way that is noteworthy. And so I want to mention some of his accolades. He also comes from a very emerging, prestigious community known as Logan Heights. I was with the President Pro Tem this morning, also from Logan Heights. You recall former Assembly Speaker Fabian Nunez, also from Logan Heights, a dear friend of ours, Juan Vargas, represented us now in Congress from Logan Heights. The list is getting longer and longer. And so let me tell you, Rick Najera, who I just saw recently at his presentation of his play, he's a poet, he's a producer, he's an actor, a comedian, award-winning TV writer, denizen of the Latin Quarter, Hollywood Hills, and the author of The Great White Way, written his own solo book. He's been recognized as one of the 100 most influential Latinos in America. He's directed and written for some of the biggest Latino stars in Hollywood, as we know, Sofia Vergara, Edward James Olmos, Jimmy Smits, Eugenio Derbez, Gabriel Iglesias, and Mario Lopez. Early in his career, he was mentored by Oscar-winning actress Whoopi Goldberg, comedy producer Keenan Ivory Wayans, and Chicano icon Cheech Marin. On stage, Najera is one. Rick is one of only 3 Latinos in the history to ever write and star in his own Broadway show called Latino Logs, the longest running and only showcase of its kind for Latinos in America. He's also penned the family comedy Nothing Like the Holidays, starring Deborah Messing and Alfred Molina. The film won him a prestigious Alma Award for his writing. In television, Najera was honored with 2 Writers Guild Award nominations for his writing on Mad TV and writing for the groundbreaking television comedies In Living Color and Culture Clash. As an author, Rick's memoir, Almost White, Forced Confessions of a Latino in Hollywood, was received with rave reviews and was published by the Hay House. We will bring copies for everyone on the floor. It's an incredible book and an incredible story. He also has 3 books of plays published: Latins Anonymous, which is where I first met him, Pain of the Macho, and Latino Logs. As a performer, Rick has 2 Showtime comedy specials under his belt, Legally Brown and Diary of a Dad Man. In the new media, Rick wrote and directed for internet sensation Ray Williams Johnson's YouTube phenomenon, Equal 3, which has over 11 million subscribers and 1 billion views, billion with a B. That's a number bigger than Mexicans coming to the United States.
Yeah.
It's my own joke. On the corporate side, just want to see who's paying attention. On the corporate side, Najera is a past executive of Alley TV Networks, which he served as Vice President of Development, working closely with the CEO of Entravision, Walter Ulloa. At CBS, Najera currently serves as the director and head writer of the Diversity Comedy Showcase, which has produced 22 series regulars on television and 3 Saturday Night Live members. He is an incredible force in Hollywood and an incredible bridge for our community into the mainstream. Let me finish by saying that he continues to be active in Hollywood. He has launched the first ever Latino Performing Arts Institute at Oxnard College, where he serves as the artistic director. I want you to hear from him, hear his words and his insight. The city of Los Angeles is very pleased and honored to welcome such an important social and cultural force in our nation. Please welcome Rick Najera.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to your Los Angeles City Council. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't know how, I think I have 12 seconds to speak here, so I'll make it short. I love this city because it's a diverse city, and it's a city that honors all the people of color and all the people. It honors a human race. Even myself, I have 3 children that are Mexican and Irish. They're Mexicans, so they're mixed, and I love that, and they speak beautiful Spanish, and I see them as part of the future of our great city. I love the fact that coming here early, I saw the city at work with that wonderful, committee that you did. I believe in clean air as well, so I feel quite shallow compared to that right now. So I don't know what I can say compared to clean air and global warming. I was going to ask for a little bump in front of my house, like a speed bump, but because you're never going to get a chance like this, so I could really ask for a speed bump in front of the house. I would love that, if anything. My wife's telling me to stay on track now, but I'll forget the speed bump. But I have to say it's a great honor, and what I believe in is you can't go forward unless you reach back. And a lot of what I'm most proud about is reaching back and creating more Latino writers, producers, and more people that are diverse and of color. They can look at this great nation and also look at this wonderful Hollywood world we live in that brings so much money to this city, that we can continue to do that. So thank you so much for this great honor. My family, my little Mexicans, my beautiful wife, and of course Mexicans come in large groups, so there's all the Mexicans behind us. So and I will give you my book, Almost White. It'll be my gift to the city if that helps with the economy or the fiscal thing. Just use it for whatever you want. It's completely free. I don't want to see them on Amazon though, because I'll actually put your names. So thank you so much for this honor, and I'm proud. Thank you.
Thank you. It's behind you, Mr. Cedillo. And Mr. Cedillo, give that man a speed hump. Give him a speed.
Hump or bump? Okay, good. Now we can all go to the back. We're going to the back.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum. Let's go through the agenda.
Blumenfield, Bonner, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Huizar, Koretska, Corrin, Labange, Martinez, O'Farrell, Parks, Price, West, and 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Englander moves, Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Parks moves, O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Mr. President, item 1 is an item notice for public hearing. The Department of Building and Safety recommends that the Council receive and file item 1D inasmuch as it was determined to be owner-occupied and exempt from lien processing. The Department further recommends that items 1G and 1H be continued to July 29.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order.
Very good, sir. On the balance for item 1, we do have a card.
Okay, so then let's move on.
Very good. Items 2 through 7 are items for which public hearings have been held. A committee report for item 2, I believe, will be circulated shortly and should be held on the desk until such time.
So let's hold item 2, prepare to vote on the other items. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And, Mr. President, items 8 through 12 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
What was that, Mr. Clerk?
Items 8 through 12 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, I think I want to quickly. So those, we're holding those items?
Sir, we just received a card on 10, so we have cards on all of those items.
Next.
On the continuation agenda, items 13 through 15 are items for which public hearings have been held. There is a request to continue items 13 and 14 to July 29.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. So that leaves us with item 15, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on that. There are no speakers on the queue, so let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That brings us where?
Mr. President, item 16 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, that item is now before us. Do we have any cards?
Mr. President, we do.
Okay, Mr. Parks.
Special on 16.
Okay, Mr. Parks holds 16. So we've
Mr. President,
completed the agenda?
that is correct. However, at this time, item 2, the committee report for item 2 has been circulated and is now before council for consideration if you'd wish to take it up.
Now, I heard it's been a request to continue that item 2 until Tuesday. Item 2?
Very good, sir. And Tuesday is June 24.
Okay, this brings us back to presentations.
Yes, sir.
In fact, we want to deal with item 10. Mr. Walsh, item 10. We'll vote on item 10. Mr. Walsh, please come forward on item 10.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. What this does for Mr. Wesson's neighborhood is investigating the traffic configuration at the corner of Pico and Rimpau. I know that area very well. I taught in that area as a substitute teacher for a quarter of a century. The traffic is terrible there, and it is only getting worse. But what are you doing here? You're looking at removing the left turn restriction from southbound Rimpau to Pico. Anytime you remove a restriction, you are automatically increasing the traffic, the speed of the traffic. But again, because this is in a minority area, they don't give a darn about minorities. They don't lift restrictions west of La Brea, where all the white people live, the rich white people, HollywoodHighlands.org.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Mr. Parks, for presentation, or am I off base here? Mr. Parks, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Today we're going to honor, and it's very unusual that you honor 3 teams from one school. We're honoring the View Park Prep High School, their boys basketball team, their boys football team, and although the girls aren't here, we're also honoring the girls basketball team, all of them champions in this past season. And so we're also accompanied by the coach.
Hey, 3 champions from the school. Give them a round of applause.
After I make a brief presentation, we're going to have comments from the coach, and then also a representative of the 2 boys teams make comments, and then we'll make the presentation. Each of them have gotten their own individual certificates. Today we're here to recognize and congratulate these student athletes. And when I say students, they take it very seriously. 80% of their students graduate and go to 4-year colleges from View Park Prep High School for their recent accomplishments in the past season. The football team finished the regular season undefeated 13-0 and won the Division III City Championship and were selected to participate in the Southern California State Regions for the city section. The boys basketball team also had an incredible season, finishing undefeated in league play, winning the Division V City Championship, then advanced to the Southern California State Regional Championship game, finishing with a record of 23-6. Although the girls basketball team is not here, they also created their own magical season by completing an undefeated league play, then winning the Division V City Championship to advance to the state quarterfinals with an overall record of 25-6. It's my pleasure to introduce them and present them today for their student and athletic achievements. And it's a pleasure to see that 3 of their teams at one school are all champions. And let me ask the coach to come up and make some comments.
Coach, you look like you could play.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Ken Henderson, and I'm the coach at View Park Prep High School. I'm the assistant head coach of the football team and the head coach of the basketball team. And I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here today, and it's also a privilege to be a part of these young men's lives. And, you know, not only do we preach sports at the school, we also encourage, and we want to make sure that their academics are as high as they can possibly be, because we know that sports only last for so long, but they'll need a lifetime of knowledge to endure and become fine young men, and, you know, to give back and contribute to society. And that's what we most want to be appreciative of, that we take care of the guys at the school and the young ladies as well, although they're not here. And being in the area we are in Los Angeles, it's a pleasure also to say that we are honored to carry the torch, to be the beacon of light, that the young men can have somewhere to come and the young ladies can have somewhere to come, and they can feel safe, and they can endure in their athletics and academics and the arts. And I just want to say thank you again for having us here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. You do a good job with these young men.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to introduce 2 of my captains here, one from the football team and one from the basketball team. From the football team, we first have Julian Smith. He's a senior.
Mr. Smith?
Hi. First, I just want to say on behalf of the football team, we definitely thank Council Member Bernard Parks for this award and this recognition. We really worked hard this year, and it paid off. So, yeah, we just want to thank him.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir.
My name is Daryl McMillan, Jr., captain of the basketball team. I just want to
say that we appreciate this acknowledgement of our achievements, and we hope to do better next year. Well, at least the returning players. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause.
And so, Coach, congratulations from the LA City Council and to the school, and each of you have your individual certificates. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll go back and do some photos.
And I just want to say thank you again to Councilman Parks for having us here. We really appreciate it.
He's a good sportsman. Anyway, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move quickly to item 8 before our next presentation. And Mr. Weezer, you'll be the next presentation. If I could have Mr. Sachs and Mr. Walsh come forward. This is again on item 8. Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. And this, I think, is the REAP stuff, rent, whatever. Oh, it's the rent escrow. The program we're doing. See, the thing about this program, though, it's a quality of life issue. And if the council and the city can act on rent escrow, why can't they act on foreclosed property? Again, a quality of life issue. You empowered yourselves to come up with this ordinance for foreclosed property, and in the 4 years, there's not been one item on the agenda regarding it. Yet you spend the money on the housing personnel to issue citations for chump change, but you don't have the personnel. The mayor's budget wants to hire part-time people for parking tickets, but nobody for foreclosed property. It's about personnel using it correctly. You've been doing this long enough. It's a quality of life issue. Take care of the foreclosed property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
Sir,
Mr.
Would you give me back my one?
No,
second?
you'll get 1 minute. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Again, when you do a good job, I praise you. And when you get up here, it's maybe 70% criticism. REAP has been an excellent program. I've lived in this city at the same address since 1976. Before that, in 1966, my landlord was UCLA. I want everyone out there to realize that if you have any code violations in your apartment, write a letter. You can use a pen or a pencil to your landlord. He has, I think, 30 to 60 days to fix those violations. If he doesn't or she doesn't, you go to the city, and now your rent is not being paid to the landlord. Your rent is paid to the city, to the landlord cleans this up. You're doing an excellent job, and when you do an excellent job, I am the first to praise you. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Mr. Weezer, are you ready for your next presentation? The floor belongs to Mr. Weezer. Oh, we have Judge Hatter in the front row and a group of law students. Could we please give them a round of applause? One of the best lawyers and judges this state has ever known.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. It's really an honor to be here today to recognize a longstanding institution in the community of Boyle Heights, which, as we all know, is considered or was considered one of the most diverse neighborhoods in all of Los Angeles and perhaps this country. And we're here to celebrate the Tenriquio Church's 80th anniversary. It was founded in 1934, and it is the headquarters of the Tenriquio Mission in America, and it is located in the heart of Boyle Heights on First Street near Mott Street. It serves as the overarching support center for the Diocese of America and Canada, which includes the 49 mainland states as well as Canada. And the churches provide cultural and social welfare programs to support and enlighten people within their community. Their commitment to the Tenriquio way of life, community, and the Japanese culture is both admirable, and it helps to preserve Japanese culture in Boyle Heights. And as we know, although Boyle Heights is now predominantly Latino, it once had the largest number of Japanese Americans in the country, in the United States, and we continue to recognize, support, and preserve this Japanese ancestry in our community. And whether it is people who lived there before now visiting, or we have a number of programs from the local community to enjoy and support, it certainly is a community center that has become one of Boyle Heights' institutions that has been there for a very long time because of its inclusiveness. A few years ago, I had the honor of celebrating the 50th anniversary of the church's Tenri Judo Dojo, which took place at the Tenrikyo Church. It was there that I was able to take part in my first sake barrel ceremony, also known as Kajami Beraki, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. I actually did one last night at the Arts Center, at the Arts District, where we celebrated a new farmers market. And Kajami Beraki ceremony are part of Japanese tradition and culture. They are also part of Boyle Heights tradition and culture, as we know, because of the number of Japanese Americans who have lived there. The Tenrikyo Mission headquarters is an extremely important part of Boyle Heights' living history, so I hope that they stay in Boyle Heights for another 80 years. And on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I wanted to present this resolution commemorating this very special year, the 80th anniversary of the Tenrikyo Mission headquarters in America here in Boyle Heights. Much success, and thank you for your service that you've given to Boyle Heights and the City of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
All right, let's give them a round of applause.
And now I would like to welcome Bishop Hiroshi to say a few words. Bishop.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huizer. As Mr. Huizer said, our church, Tenrikyo Church, was established in 1934 in Boyle Heights. And we are part of the Boyle Heights members, and it's grateful to be in Boyle Heights. Last Sunday, we have just celebrated our 80th anniversary, honored by the Shinbashira, the head of our Tenrikyo Church. He came from from the Japan, and with his wife, Mrs. Nakayama, successfully. And for that celebration, we got main support from City of Los Angeles, District 14, and Mr. Huizer. And it was grateful to have all the support. Since our establishment, we have been dedicating to our district, the Boyle Heights, not only the Boyle Heights district, but the City of Los Angeles, America, and Canada. And hopefully we will convey our teaching to the world to have the joyous life, a world of the world where all people help each other to have the joyous life on this earth. So anyway, thank you. Well, once again, I would like to thank you, the City of Los Angeles, District 40, and Mr. Huizer for all the support. And we would like to continuously dedicate to the Boyle Heights and to the world. And I would like to introduce the one of the board of director, Reverend Mano Okazaki. He is living in Boyle Heights also. And Ms. Kay Morishita, he is also living in Boyle Heights. Would you like to have it?
Thank you very much, Consul, for recognizing the Tenrikyo Church. I was born and raised in Boyle Heights. I went to Sheridan Elementary, Hollenbach, and Roosevelt High School. I'm a proud Rough Rider. And my church has been in Boyle Heights, the Otoke area, for the past 84 years. And it's on near the corner of Chicago and what we used to call Brooklyn Avenue. I don't know if you remember that. It's now Cesar Chavez. But I want to say that it's an honor to live, work, and serve the local community in Boyle Heights. Thank you very much.
Hi, sure. Good afternoon. My name is Kay Morishita, and I am a head minister of the Tenrikyo Brotherhood Church in Boyle Heights. And we have celebrated over 60 years of being a home-based community church in our local community. And after celebrating our 80th anniversary this year for the mission headquarters in America, who help support our churches all over the world in America, Canada, the celebration went in grand scale. We had support and head ministers from all over America, Canada come join us. So we're very appreciative for Los Angeles City for acknowledging our presence in our community by supporting us to safely and very beautifully have everything that we needed to accomplish our mission to celebrate 80 years. And we ask for your continued support. And thank you very much.
One more person, it's a very important person. I would like to introduce my wife, Hiromi Fukaya. Just thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so honored to be a member of this district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Blumenfeld, for reconsideration.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I move that we reconsider item 19 from our last agenda. It's a land use issue relative to Nordhoff Street in my district. There was some technical ambiguity, which is why I'm asking for the reconsideration.
Okay, so we'll reconsider till when? Just today? Tuesday. You want to bring it today?
Tuesday.
So we'll go ahead and vote on the reconsideration. So we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay. So now I want to formally ask that it be continued until Tuesday, so the planning staff can work with us. And
okay, then that'll be till Tuesday, June 24th, without objection. That'll be the order.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And let's go ahead and take item 9 now.
Thanks, Al.
For cards, Arnold, followed by John and Juan. Arnold, John, and Juan. John and Juan, if you can line up behind the second set of ropes. John.
Still time showing on the clock here, sir.
You got 1 second. Now you got 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, this is funding from the Lopez Canyon Amenity Landfill. Another one of the trust funds or the funds that go directly to the council offices instead of being spent in the council district. Maybe going to some of that portion should go to the neighborhood councils to have an input on that. Another one of the funds not included in the general fund, not included in the budget discussions. Just money. Not only is it just money that goes to the council district office, but it's money that goes to the council district office every year. So what's the balance of this funding that's left? And this doesn't affect the other sources of funding that go into the council district offices. It's important that you start calling up and finding out where this money is going, because it's your money. Don't complain about the streets if you don't complain about the money.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This is $26,667 of overtime costs associated with an LAPD Foothill Division party car. Now, let me explain to you what a party car is. Cops get into an LAPD and they just cruise around, and then if there's a loud party, say there's a gay party going on, and it's a little too loud and some neighbors complain. Then, and I'm using the term that Officer Liga uses instead of gay, and no one in the gay community has been upset with this, but it is on the tape, and Officer Liga was in a party car at some point. The Fruits, F-R-U-I-T. All gay people have been called Fruits by Officer Liga, and
Mr. President, he's not talking about this item. It's not on the item, so that'll be your last warning on that.
I'm taking my 1 minute. That's the big F word, fruit.
Well, the 1 minute, it went through, it was less than a minute, so we don't round up.
Hey, I love fruit. Half the people in here...
Stay on that subject. That's the last warning. Go on.
Yeah. Party car. The party car. That sounds like the party wagon. Huh? That is the subject, right? The party car. Am I mistaken? Is Mr. Wilson taking a nicotine break?
You're not on the subject. That was your third warning. So now your time is up. So on this item, thank you very much. Your time is up. You were warned. You forfeit that time. Okay, so no other speakers on the queue. We'll open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. O'Farrell, you ready for your presentation? Okay, we'll go ahead and take you. Thank you. Look at my pen.
Mr. President, colleagues, it is my great honor to stand here this morning and recognize our very own city family on the cusp of the one-year anniversary of the rededication of Echo Park Lake. The Department of Public Works, represented by Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Sanitation, and Bureau of Contract Administration. I want to acknowledge them for their instrumental role in the Echo Park Lake Rehabilitation Project and on restoring the lake to its former glory and making it a central role in the cultural life of Los Angeles. The project was funded by Proposition O, the Clean Water Bond, that is helping the city of Los Angeles meet clean water goals. Echo Park Lake is 13 acres in size and receives stormwater from the 770-acre Echo Park Silver Lake watershed. It was originally a reservoir in 1868, reservoir number 4, and in 1891 it became a park. And it has been an incredible historic resource since those days. This month, as I mentioned, marks the one-year anniversary of the lake since its reopening. This project was completed on time and under budget. The original estimated cost was $84.3 million. At the beginning of construction, that cost was reduced to approximately $65 million. However, it was completed at a total of $45.3 million. The city saved almost $20 million on this project. That deserves a round of applause. Thank you. Removal of approximately 40,000 cubic yards of sediment from the lake's bottom occurred. Also, the new lake clay bottom was installed to reduce water seepage. There was an installation of approximately 3,300 linear feet of new lake edging and 2,000 linear feet of rock edging and vegetated slopes. Construction of 4 acres of new wetlands to further clean the water. Planting of 376 sacred lotuses. The lotus plants are blooming once again. And the Lady of the Lake statue was restored to her original location and her hands were repaired. Landscape and park improvements include new pedestrian scale lighting, benches, boardwalks, educational signage, porous pavement, a brand new walking path, rain gardens at the lake's edge, new landscaping, new grass, a new irrigation system. Approximately 400 existing trees were protected and 200 new trees were planted for a net gain of many dozens of trees. This last year, the project was recognized with numerous awards since its reopening. A few of those awards are the American Public Works Association 2013 Best Project Award, American Society of Civil Engineers 2013 Outstanding Public and Government Civil Engineering Project, California Water Environment Association's 2013 Engineering Achievement Award, California Best Projects Award, Southern California Development Forum's Urban Design and Planning Award, the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists Award, Grand Prize for Environmental Sustainability this year in 2014. We also, since taking office, we opened the cafe out of the boathouse that was also restored, and we have pedal boats. I would like to bring forward 3 key people who helped make this happen from the very beginning, among many others. First of all, we have our interim general manager, the first female to hold the position, Deborah Weintraub.
Thank
Thank you, Council Member. It gives me great pleasure to be here after 1 year after the reopening of the lake. The councilman went through all the facts and statistics, but what our team, the team in Public Works, did was basically create a community amenity that has been a catalytic project for neighborhood revitalization, and it gives us no greater pleasure to have all of the technical things working well and to have the park so well used. I do want to honor my staff from the Bureau of Engineering who dedicated many, many hours to this project. Ken Redd, Deputy City Engineer, Jose Fuentes from our Construction Management Division, Alvaro Prada, Walid Azar, Kendrick Okuda, and Julie Allen, and Catherine Doherty. And so if they would just raise their hands for a minute. Thank you all. Your dedication is really appreciated. Thank you, Council Member.
And now, another one of our friends, Adel Haji Khalil, Assistant Director of the Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning. On behalf of our General Manager, Enrique Zaldivar, and the 2,800 hardworking men and women of sanitation that work hard every day, rain or shine, day or night, to protect the public health and the environment. We are the custodian of water quality in the city of Los Angeles, and this project is an example of what's possible when partnership and collaborations comes together. We are committed to work on building multi-benefit projects that can leverage resources and build these projects that can enhance water quality, improve the quality of life in neighborhoods, address flooding, replenish our groundwater, and make us more sustainable. Council members, imagine the future of Los Angeles if we can build these across the city. We have done the first step in building these projects in Proposition O, but more needs to be done. Stormwater pollution is our biggest challenge, but it's our biggest opportunity to transform this city. And we need to do it over the next 20 years, not for us, but for our children and grandchildren. Thank you very much. I want to recognize a few people here: Barry Berggren, Wing Tam, Shahram Karagani, Robert Vega, and Alfredo Magalhaes for their work on this project. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele. Thank you. And I mentioned, and it bears repeating, the project was delivered on time and $20 million under budget. There's a reason for that. Next, I'd like to invite Director of Bureau of Contract Administration, John Reamer.
Thank you, Council Member. Good morning, all. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here. John Reamer, Inspector of Public Works. Just simply to say thank you. Thank you to all of the City of Los Angeles. Thank you to this great council for allowing us to deliver this project for you. We thank you for the resources that you gave us. You allowed us to have what we needed so this project could indeed take place. Not only the finances to fund such a project, but the tools. On this project, we had a project labor agreement. So there was a reinvestment not only in property, but in people. On this project, over 55% of the hours worked were worked by men and women who live in the city of Los Angeles. 200 individuals had an opportunity to work on this project with a reinvestment of over $2 million in wages and benefits into the lives of Los Angelinos because of this project. So we can call this the park that Los Angeles built. With that, we also want to thank you for the responsibility that you gave us. The Department of Public Works, the Bureau of Engineering, the Bureau of Contract Administration, the Bureau of Sanitation, you allowed us to deliver this project for the citizens of this city. And as you can see, I believe we did an excellent job. The inspectors and the analysts on this project from the Bureau of Contract Administration, they're matched by none. I must say I'm biased by what they do. They did a fantastic job. I have Frank Rinaldi here with me this morning, the principal inspector, Jesse Mitchell, who was inspector leading on the project. They did a phenomenal job to deliver this project for you. So lastly, I thank you for this recognition, for your taking the time to allow us to come here this morning and hear from you, letting us know that you believe we did a great job. Thank you very much.
Biased, but you speak the truth.
And I have a few acknowledgments of my own. I worked on behalf of the council office on this project for many years, and now as council member, so totals 8 years of work. And I just want to acknowledge my predecessor, now Mayor Eric Garcetti, and also a former colleague of mine, Alejandro Marroquin, who also did extensive work on the front end of this. Also, though, I'm an on-the-ground kind of guy, so during the whole construction phase, I would go and I would visit with Walid Azar, who was the construction manager, and I think Walid is here. And also, a big shout-out to Kendrick Okuda. Kendrick Prop O Program Manager for really being the brains behind this, and we would conspire together over the years to see how we could help improve the whole outcome of this project. So it did take an army of individuals to make this work. They're standing around me at this moment, and some couldn't be here, but the story of the Echo Park Lake is that it was a collaboration of some of the most talented professionals in the city of Los Angeles in conjunction with neighborhood activists and neighborhood participation. And it's resulted in one of the crown jewels of Los Angeles. And it is a park that belongs to all of us. It belongs to everyone. And so therefore I invite the public to come to the 37th Annual Lotus Festival. It's returning to the lake after a 3-year hiatus, and it will take place on July 12th, 13th, and we're also bringing back the dragon boat races. So I challenge all of you to a dragon boat race at the same time. So at this point, I would like to award certificates of recognition to the Bureau of Engineering, to the Bureau of Sanitation, and the Bureau of Contract Administration. Thank you, colleagues.
Let's give them all another round of applause. On time, $20 million under budget. Phenomenal. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. O'Farrell. Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a number of items, colleagues. We're going to take up 1, 11, and 12.
Thank you, sir.
We've got cards on all three for 1, 11, and 12. John Walsh. Cards on 1, 11, and 12. You have a minute left, Mr. Walsh.
If I'm lucky, I have a minute left. The way I'm talking about the gangs. HollywoodHighlands.org. Number 11, this is Elise. Neighborhood City Hall for the El Nido Family Centers. Of course, we're 100% in favor of this. What we don't like is the amending of the number 12 of the financial status report. It's a very complicated issue. I only have 30 seconds. I'm not going to go into it. But they went back and changed and fudged a number of items in the financial report to the tune of $300,000. Remember, if you go to the website HollywoodHighlands.org or you go to our Twitter account at HollywoodDems, we explain all these things in detail. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Mr. Sachs on 12.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. And this is $300,000. It's a transfer within council funds, which goes back again directly to the funds that the council districts get in the council offices, such as the Lopez Canyon Amenity Landfill Fund, such as Bus Bench Revenue Fund, which is actually Street Furniture Revenue Fund, which actually should be Bus Bench Revenue Fund, such as Pipeline Revenue Fund, such as Billboard Revenue Fund. This isn't coming from the general fund. This is coming from those sources of revenue which are not considered part of the budget, not considered part of the budget discussion. Excuse me, Mr. President, could you stop my time? Am I only speaking on one item or speaking on two items?
All the items I called you up, 1, 11, and 12.
Well, you only called me up on one item, but I had two cards in.
Whatever cards you have in, that's what I called you up on.
Okay, fine. So then...
Just item 12. You only had one card in. That's all we
have.
have.
I actually have a card in an item that's 16 also.
No, we're not on 16. 1, 11, and 12, you only had one card on.
All right, so I'm just asking, and I appreciate you stopping my time to consider that. It's amazing. But again, since I've got to kill 50 seconds here, it's a terrible job you're doing here with this. It's an absolute terrible job that you're doing with this funding and not letting the public take part in this, not letting the neighborhood councils have an opportunity to discuss the funding that goes into the council offices, not having neighborhood council input on how to spend that money, not having, and again, this is just a transfer. This isn't money that comes in on a yearly basis like those other sources of funds. And only the council keeps it secret from the public, not discussed in budget discussions, not discussed anywhere else, paid for with salaries. This is for administrative expenses. $300,000 for administrative expenses, $26,000 for gang reduction. It's a differential in the money, and it should be looked at.
Okay. Juan Alcala? On items 1, 11, and 12. He's not here. We'll go ahead and file those as called. And Mr. Herman on 1, 11, and 12.
We're talking about, first of all, item 12, how we abuse the salaries as needed for transfer and appropriation for this administration. How many times have we had the discussion on how unproductive you are to budget for the public with waste, fraud, and abuse? I'm not going to reiterate what Arnold said because Arnold at this point was right. You waste and abuse the monies needed and recommended by this council to subject to the approval of the mayor. So if the mayor can use our taxpayer dollars to use the F-bomb, why can't we use our time to insensitively talk about why this administrative waste of over $300,000 within the council fund number 100/28 from account number 1070, salaries as needed? Is that what you want, Los Angeles, to be bamboozled and waste our hardworking tax dollars, Mr. Krikorian? You're the budget man. And let me go now back on 11. Mr. Fuentes and Mr. Huizar, both not here, but they're in the back room for whatever reasons.
You're not on the item. Stick to the item. It's the last warning.
Back to 11, please. Relative to rescinding prior council action regarding a lease at the Pacoima Neighborhood City Hall for El Nino Family Centers. I, like you, Mr. Englander, we love our children, and we definitely...
Again, on the subject matter, please.
I'm talking about the neighborhood city hall for El Nino.
You're addressing me and my children. That's not on the subject matter.
Children love neighborhood areas of recreation. And those of us who have children with our integrity and our responsibility love to know that Mr. Huizar and Fuentes are diligently working to improve what? Our neighborhood councils. Councils that would represent us in our communities to what? Rescind the prior council action regarding a lease at the Pacoima Neighborhood City Hall. Usually it's always in the white areas that you get priority. But in Hazard Park, Ramona Gardens, Pico Aliso, Frogtown, we minorities, we don't get this Caucasian idea of rescinding prior council action. We don't. And I'm just very shocked that Mr. Fuentes and Huizar can collaborate on this matter. Now going into item 1, talking about a sufficient justification to protect the rights of people who have liens on their properties. The board review is a due process upon notice. certified notice. I don't want to raise my voice because Mr. Englander gets upset with me, folks, and says I am being too loud.
You're being too loud.
Violation of a due process to be heard. Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. To be heard. A violation of due process to be heard on a notice of hearing. How dare you with these precarious positions of violations of a lien, Mr. Krikorian, in your district, Mr. Englander in District 12, you have liens. And what about the other members who have liens against the public? I demand an investigation of the FBI to continue to look into the matters of public interest when it comes to the predatory liens that Mr. Krikorian and Mr. Englander and some of you are under that discretion of violating our due process rights, that these liens are predatory. Send out certified mail, Mr. Dion, City Attorney. Notify the public rather than posting it on their doorstep or their fence or on a tree in their house. Notify the actual person. Most people who have a lien on their property don't even live there because they rent out to people like us, Mr. Walsh, Mr. Akala, and the public. So again, I say to you, precarious positions of violations of liens, adjudicate your responsibility to act in the interest, Mr. Bloomfield, for the public.
Again, you've got to stay on the matter.
Public.
On the matter.
And Mr. Englander, help the lady out in your district for that measly $600.
Thank you. Okay, your time is up. Juan, I already called you, and you weren't here, so you got to go sit down. You got to go sit down. We filed your cards. You weren't here. Now you're disrupting the meeting. Now you're disrupting the meeting. Don't yell from chambers. Okay, we're going to go take 11 and 12. We'll hold one for a couple more cards. So items 11 and 12 are before us. We'll open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you very much. You're arguing with the sergeant in chambers, and you're disrupting the meeting. That's the last and final warning. You'll be asked to leave the chambers. Okay, on item 1, Farah Tara. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Farah Terra. My address is 22200 Plummer Street in Chatsworth, and my councilman is Mr. Englander. In 2007, I had a hearing in the city of Chatsworth. When I went over there, they gave me found for $500 unfairly because it was my son's wedding that day. And they said that we're going to hold it on the probation to see what's going to happen after. Since today, nothing happened over there, and I never ever got any notification or any bill from the city till I got a letter, this one, from the city at my work, and I received it after a week that I had a hearing on May 30th. I came over here. Nobody told me that was canceled. And I have the pictures of my presenting that day in this room. And then I went and I tried to hold up the telephone number of the Charles Kalibala, and I kept leaving the messages. And finally, I got something from him that I have to prepare the evidence of my occupancy over there. I did it in last week with Rosh, and I sent everything to him to remove the lien from my house. That I live in that house since 2000. Then now the bill is up from 500 to 700, and I'm really asking your help to compromise this situation, and I need a copy of any letter, any notification to came to this address that I live in. I never got anything from city. Even for today, I had to search and to find out that I have hearing today. When I asked
Right.
Charles, Charles said that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, and then on 1K, we've got another speaker, Queen and Sylvia Williams. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Well, first of all, we're here on behalf of the notice of hearing for the property at 1818 West 70th Street in Los Angeles. My mother here, I'm coming to, excuse me, talk about us not being the property. The name is not in my mother's name anymore, but my main goal is to enlighten everyone on elder abuse. Her grandson, who she raised, took her property from her, and she no longer has it in her name, so she can no longer represent herself for a lien that's on her property that she cannot afford to pay. So we wanted to get some help, along with, most of all, enlightening everyone on elder abuse. Okay. So what do I
We
do?
talked to the building and safety and the person involved, and it appears that the owner is not here today, but that there's nothing that would change the recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Parks. Okay, so the item one, Mr. Kokorian, did you mean to push your button?
Mr. President, I just wanted to state for the sake of the record that when the public speaker on item 1D was speaking, throughout the time that we were trying to listen to what she was having to say, Mr. Alcala and Mr. Herman were mugging for the camera, waving their arms, dancing around in the aisles, standing in the aisle behind her, and making faces for the camera in a way that is really very distracting when someone is coming here to speak to us about something that's very important in their lives. And so I just want to make the record that whether or not they're opening their mouth, their juvenile behavior and their physical gestures in the audience of the City Council are extremely disruptive to the work that we're trying to do. And I'd like the President to please warn them and remind them that they don't need to be speaking to be disrupting the meeting.
Oh, I appreciate it, and thank you for noticing that. And yeah, it was disruptive, and I would like to note that as well. When we're trying to look at the speaker and hear what they're saying, and when you see that nonsense going on behind the speaker, it is incredibly disrupting. So, well noted. Thank you very much. With that, colleagues, number one is before us. Please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, on item 16, there's a request to send that item back to committee. So item 16 will go back to committee without objection. Yes.
The questions I'm wondering, I think this is coming back, if we can give it to the clerk and ask them to have them answered when it comes back.
Okay, we can, we'll go ahead and Mr. Parks will submit some questions to the clerk, so when the item comes back, they'll be noted as well. Mr. Parks, did you want those just sent to the clerk or part of the council file?
Council file.
Part of the, okay. So there-
And I just, we're not running the meeting, but if it's at all possible to go through committee, because this is so complicated that we can get these things hashed out.
Certainly.
It's almost impossible to vote on this stuff on a motion that was waived.
So we'll go ahead and ask that Mr. Parks' question be submitted to the committee to answer as part of the committee report coming back when it comes back to council. Okay, not a problem. That'll be the order without objection. That concludes all the agenda items. And for that, I believe we now have general public comment. We're going to have a minute of general public comment each because we don't want to lose a quorum and we want to get through all of these. And there are quite the stack. So, Mr. Herman, followed by Juan. Please line up behind the second ropes.
Did you say Juan?
Followed by Arnold Sachs.
Did you say Juan?
Yes, Juan. Herman, if you can stand behind the second ropes. That's what they're for. And Mr. Sachs behind Herman as well.
Now I can tell you, you SOBs, quit using every trick in the book to quiet down the people. The people elected you, you son of a bitches, and the people demand the right to
If
speak.
you're going to be loud and lascivious and you're going to be threatening and yelling, that is not.
Now you want to throw us out even for gesturing.
It's not allowed. So.
Even if we don't speak, we are Krikorian. He was born prematurely, obviously. You can tell by his little ears. You know, you idiots cannot quiet us. We are the people that elected you, you idiots. And you do not serve the people. You serve yourselves. All those damn liens that you put on people's property, it's unconstitutional. Now we can sleep in our cars thanks to the Supreme Court. And you idiots can do nothing about it. It's a federal law, but you will keep violating it.
That's exciting. I can't get no satisfaction. I cannot get no satisfaction, but I wore my best attire for the women in here who love a real man, who speaks on behalf of the public. Our Constitution rights by Mr. Krikorian to say that we're disruptive is the fact that Judge Ferguson was right. The crybaby right there cannot handle criticism, cannot tolerate what our First Amendment right. And when we're right, Mr. Krikorian and your big ears up there, think about it. You're impacting and coercing our society to believe that you're right and you're wrong. And I'm not going to throw the F-bomb because there are little boys in here. I got more common sense than that knucklehead Mayor Garcetti. Duh. And anyways, Mr. Englander, you should talk about your personal life with your family and your wife when you're cheating on the job. Because I'm more American and believe in veterans than you and the elderly and the disabled. And I'm American, brother. Eat it.
Yeah, your false accusations mean nothing. Mr. Sachs, Mr. Krikorian.
Mr. Englander, I just wanted to make the point again in the record that while I was trying to listen attentively to Mr. Herman because of the important message that he's once again bringing to us today, and I was trying to pay attention to him, Mr. Alcala, again, as he was walking out the door, continued to shout and make noise as he was leaving. So even when he concludes his comment, Mr. Alcala is continuing to disrupt the meeting, and the record needs to be made that this meeting does not belong to those who shout the loudest from the audience. This meeting is a meeting of the people and their representatives. And when we're here to hear from the people who speak, it should not be disrupted by the people who are the loudest in the audience.
With that, if they continue that behavior, they'll be asked to leave chambers in the future. So,
That's quite.
thank you. Mr. Sachs.
Thank you. Thursday's headlines. Near perfection. How many people got to see the Dodger game? Probably not as many because of the cable contract dispute. And the key word here is contract dispute. Because in Wednesday's paper, union boss warned City on payout regarding the contract for this $4 million that they have for the nonprofit that the DWP is running. Key word again is contract. It's the contract that is made, that is non-negotiable, because those are the terms. So when you hear the discussions about how the mayor and the controller and the city council are going to work with DWP about making amendments, the contract's been signed for 4 years now. Keep that in mind. When you want to watch the Dodgers, keep that in mind. Nobody's winning because of the contract dispute between the cable operators. That's the key.
Thank you. Mark Littman, followed by Gloria Villamil, followed by Farah. Did you want to? Yeah. Okay, those are the three. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for listening to my comments today. I just wanted to bring to your attention that yesterday the Federal District Court overturned the Los Angeles' ban on sleeping in your vehicles. noting that this has been a 31-year violation of constitutional rights. Basically, LA City Council has gotten it wrong for 31 years. This is an opportunity to set the record straight and get it right this time. We have the opportunity to address homelessness in a way that is right. Our city attorney agrees that enforcement and policing is the wrong way to go. We have opportunities. LA County has presented reports that it saves us $20,000 per person per year simply to house and give supportive services to those in need. This is the direction we should be looking to go in. This is your opportunity. I challenge you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you very much for listening today. I am here to speak in behalf of mothers and children and hardworking people that I met through the years, and they were forced by economic hardship into the streets after having their house and being tricked into predatory loans. Then they lost their homes and they were forced into the cars. Then later on being harassed. Yesterday we saw how that harassment was overturned by the federal government, and it's time to take on from there a more humane way of helping people that is going through economic hardships after having their homes being forced to sleep in their cars with their children.
Mr. Englander, I would like to have your staff on this side to solve this issue today because it's been going on since 2007.
This is general public comment, so any issues that actually weren't already on the agenda, because you'd already spoken on item 1, I believe, so this is any issues that aren't on the agenda.
So that means it's going to be everything exactly the same it is? Because there is no compassion that I didn't get any bill. The original was $500. Any notification, personal notification, any bill, I never got till today. If I got
Again, I apologize, but we've got to follow the rules, and so the rules are that general
but
public
then why
comment.
the city doesn't follow the rule to send me letters, to send
I
me
can't have the
notifications?
conversation with you specifically about this. My staff will come talk to you on the side of the ropes for a moment, okay? Okay, Bobby Cooper, followed by Brian Barajas.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. As you know, my name is Bobby Cooper. I've been coming down here for 5 years, seeking to have justice with regards to my mother's body. 5 years, social worker took her from us. You people got involved in our business. I don't have my wife because of you people. You ran my wife off. She's scared that you're going to do something to her son. That's your Los Angeles Police Department. Your Los Angeles Police individuals. I'm not against law enforcement or Los Angeles Police, but you got some crooks in there that have stolen thousands of dollars, taking over my business and my identity. This is wrong. I will fight you all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I want some action out of you people. I want to get back in my business. I'm allowed. Listen, it's my right as due process in the law. These people are stopping me from making a phone call out of this state. I can't call the FBI, nobody. I'm asking the federal government, federal authorities to step in on this because these are law enforcement officers using their position.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so that concludes general public comment. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Barajas. Brian?
Can you look into John Walsh's card? But what I want to say is that impeachment works both ways as well. but I do understand that disruptions are a nuisance. But let me, for today I turned in impeach Obama immediately. Saudi Arabia, Qatar are the funders of ISIS. Malaki stated that the Saudis, just like when they funded 9/11, they have to be, under the Constitution, we have to have a president who does say the truth. You could look in H-Res 428 to urge the president to release the 28 pages that were redacted that specifies the Saudis in funding of the terrorists on 9/11-2001. And they're still doing it today, to this very day.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Is that low enough for you? Okay, lighten up is what the mayor says. The mayor said an F-bomb on Fox News, on live television in front of the world. I want to know, and he says it's fine. Apparently he uses that language at home in front of his child, but that's fine in front of his child, not in front of hockey Rangers fans. But I could complain forever. This isn't about complaining to you. That's like telling Hitler you shouldn't kill any Jews. I have just sent a complaint to the FCC. We have just asked for a thorough investigation because the LA Times said that the mayor deliberately used the F word on television. And he wants, and Obama wants, that rule lifted so anybody can curse. Anybody can be foul-mouthed. FCC will decide. HollywoodHighlands.org.
That concludes general public comment. And we have item 2 for reconsideration. I'll open the roll for reconsideration on item 2. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And Mr. Cedillo has a verbal friendly amendment on item 2. Mr. Cedillo, are you ready for your verbal amendment on item 2?
Yes. During the committee, we had asked for a report back on the ratio of administrative costs to service costs, and we want to make sure that this is an appropriate amount. It's a 45% admin cost, and we're concerned about that. We're not quite sure why admin costs should be at that level, and if there's even necessary, given that this is a new program added to ongoing work, and so we'd like a report back on that and what proposals we have to bring the admin costs more in line with what's expected from the work that we do.
Okay, that's a friendly amendment. For a second, we're looking for a second on that friendly amendment. Okay, seconded by Mr. Wesson. And with that, we'll go ahead and open the roll on that item with that amendment.
And, Mr. President, so again, you'd be adopting the Public Works and Gang Reduction Committee report as amended.
Correct. Yes, thank you very much. And close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, and that item will be sent forthwith without objection. And that concludes the agenda. We have motions for posting and referral.
Yes, sir.
Those will be posted and referred. And do we have any announcements? Seeing none, do we have any closing adjourning motions? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Everybody have a safe weekend. Thank you so much.